when you have your staff taking the Fifth Amendment, taking the Fifth, so they're not prosecuted.
This is the pleading from Michael Cohen. This is the first time the president's lawyer has sworn to a court that he will plead the Fifth.
Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. Horrible.
As Michael Cohen said today, quote, based upon the advice of counsel, I will assert my Fifth Amendment rights.
You see, the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
He cited the ongoing criminal investigation in the Southern District of New York as the reason for taking the Fifth.
It's taking the Fifth Amendment. How about that?
The mob takes the Fifth.
Okay. Of course, back in 2016, Michael Flynn famously said, quote, when you're given immunity, that means you've probably committed a crime.
Probably committed a crime. That's what they, I mean, my God.
Today, the president's personal lawyer has stopped talking about his involvement in a hush money deal involving porn star Stormy Daniels,
you know, the president
and Donald Trump.
The president actually, when he was campaigning, right there, he was saying, the mob takes the Fifth, right?
Yeah, I mean,
anybody that loves America
take the Fifth when you need to take the Fifth, I guess.
Have you can I ask if you've detected something on this set?
What?
Have you guys noticed? Do you feel it? Willie and I have it.
What?
Very few people have it.
What's wrong?
The president has it.
What?
Kanye has it.
What are you talking about?
Dragon energy.
No, stop. Gross.
Dragon energy.
Don't
We're
you
going to be
feel that
joined
coursing
live.
through your veins?
Is that like tiger blood from the Charlie
I don't
Sheen
know
days?
what it is, but it's dumb.
No.
We're going to be joined live by Stormy Daniels' attorney.
Panther sex? The
Sex Panthers.
Stop.
Yeah.
Panther.
Yes.
Don't leave. Stop,
Ryan
Willie.
Fantana.
I'm going to blame you.
50% of the time it works. 100%
Oh my
all the
God.
time.
It's
something
early.
like that.
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael
50% of the
Avenatti,
time, Alex tells us it works all the time.
Yeah. That's it.
will be joining us at 8 a.m. for his reaction to Cohen's legal strategy.
Okay,
also,
so-
Mandy Patinkin's going to be on today. So, welcome to Morning Joe.
May we? Hey, hold on a second.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting,
Yes, it is.
isn't it?
Big.
Stop.
What?
It's Thursday, April 26th.
What?
With us to kick things off this morning, we have Washington anchor for BBC World News America and co-author of the New York Times bestseller. I believe it was #1.
Again.
The Confidence Code for Girls, Katty Kay. This is a revolution. I love it.
Thank you.
Columnist
Can I ask
and
Willie? Other than the Gutenberg Bible, you name any other book that has
actually-
outsold the Confidence.
It's
That's the only
actually
one.
incredible.
King James, too.
It was only
One,
King
two,
James.
yeah.
No, King James.
No.
Did you pass King James?
Yeah, we did that.
Confidence Code
Joking
for
aside, my
Girls.
daughter Lucy Geist has it at her
So
bedside
good.
and just reads it
And
every
is
night
reading
before
it?
she goes to
Oh,
bed.
I'm so
Yeah.
pleased. That's
Yeah.
what we want to know.
Yeah.
The girls are reading it.
This could
It's just
change
great.
the next generation.
That's great.
Columnist and associate editor for the Washington Post, David Ignatius, is with us.
Also, he has Dragon.
And former U.S.
low book sales.
But you have Dragon energy.
Okay.
Also,
Former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama and MSNBC contributor Joyce Vance up early with us this morning.
All right, so I gotta before we get to what before I gotta figure this out, Willie, because the kids want to know.
Yeah.
So for quite some time, you have stated that rappers like Donald Trump. We saw it even during the campaign where you had Beyonce was going out there and Jay-Z, and he said, I got nothing personal against Donald Trump. Well, everybody else is saying it's going to be the end of the world. Chance the Rapper comes out yesterday saying, hey, all black people don't have to be Democrats. Like, what is that? What is Donald Trump's connection with, why would Kanye and Chance the
Willie is the
Rapper,
person to ask this
Jay-Z?
question.
He used to be, Donald Trump used to be one of the single most name-checked people in all of hip-hop music because he had a lifestyle that was the one that people aspired to, whether it was the cars or the money or your name on everything. And so he was like, before he was president of the United States, he was just a TV host, or, I think they viewed him maybe as harmless, and he was somebody that they could aspire to, or at least aspire to that lifestyle. But I think now the terms have changed a little bit, so that's why you've seen so much outrage against Kanye. Let's point out too, Kanye does have an album coming out.
Maybe that could have been
He's
where
a bit
you
of
started.
he's a bit of a marketer. So
Okay, we
that's what's
have
happening
several
there.
legal stories surrounding President Trump this morning that we're going to get to. Plus, questions continue to swirl about Trump's cabinet, including new questions about whether Dr. Ronnie Jackson will step down from consideration for VA secretary amid new allegations, which are just weird.
Catty K, either this guy is the most out of control, crazed admiral ever, or this is the biggest
political. A lot of people are lying.
This is biggest political hit job that we have seen in recent years.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You're hearing reports from previous administration staffers actually defending Ronnie Jackson, saying no, they weren't aware of any of these problems. And yet the Senate Democrats now saying, actually, we have multiple sources with allegations about him banging on the door of a female staffer's room when he was drunk in the middle of the night during a presidential trip, and that they have various sources on that. These stories about that he was liberal in his prescribing of pills to people who worked in use of Ambien, and also the upper Provigil, I think it's called, that some White House staffers have had as well. I have heard from staffers from previous administrations that they did get this drug, the one that keeps you awake a lot, and that was fairly readily available during the course of the White House.
I need that one.
Yeah, all of us at 3 a.m.
Right now.
And so I think this is one of those cases where you actually have to dig deeper into this investigation. If he crashed a car and he was drunk, there ought to be some kind of evidence of that. We ought to be able to find that out fairly easily.
And he says he never has.
And he said he never has. So I think I would have thought in the next couple of days, we're going to start seeing whether this story holds water or whether it doesn't.
Also, after spending a very handsy day with President Trump, French President Emmanuel Macron speaks to Congress in an address that many saw as a rebuke of Trumpism. So that's interesting, and we'll get to all of that. But we are going to start this morning with President Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, who says he will exercise his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination in a civil case brought by porn star Stormy Daniels. Daniels is suing Cohen for defamation for suggesting she lied about an affair with the president in 2006, while also suing Trump, claiming her non-disclosure agreement arranged by Cohen is not valid because the president never signed it. The White House has repeatedly denied the affair. In Cohen's decision to remain silent, he cited the ongoing criminal investigation by the FBI and federal prosecutors in New York. Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, reacted.
This is the personal attorney to the President of the United States for at least the last 10 to 12 years. That same individual that the President pointed you, other members of the media, and the American people to for answers is now refusing to provide those answers and claiming that he can't answer the questions because the answers will incriminate him. This is a big deal.
As we mentioned, Mr. Avenatti will join us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour this morning.
You know, it's so interesting that a couple of weeks ago when people were comparing Donald Trump's organization to the mob, there were some Trump supporters who were very offended by that. And yet you have Donald Trump saying in the campaign that only the mob takes the fifth. And here his personal attorney for the past 10, 15 years is now claiming he's going to take the fifth. I got no problem with people taking the fifth. It's their constitutional right. But Donald Trump does, and Donald Trump and Michael Flynn does, and Donald Trump has long said that if you take the fifth, there's something wrong with you. And again, in the campaign said only the mob takes the fifth.
So, Joyce Vance, what does this decision by Michael Cohen mean for the investigation?
It's interesting how we see the different pieces coming together. We have Cohen taking the Fifth Amendment in the civil case with Stormy Daniels because of the criminal case in New York. And we don't really know yet what the criminal case is about, only that that search warrant has been executed. But yesterday, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, testifying on the Hill, said that he didn't have to recuse from the Michael Cohen case. And he was asked, if you discover that there are allegations in that case that relate to the campaign, the 2016 campaign, will you recuse? And he said yes. And now I'm a little bit confused because we'd been assuming all along that that criminal case was about campaign finance violations, that Cohen, in paying Stormy Daniels, had somehow violated campaign finance law. That seems contrary to what the Attorney General said, so we'll have to watch this develop.
Fascinating. The Washington Post reports that another personal lawyer for President Trump, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, met with special counsel Robert Mueller on Tuesday, reopening negotiations about a presidential interview while cautioning that the president remains resistant. Giuliani pressed Mueller for clarity on when the probe is expected to end, according to 3 people familiar with the talks. In response, Mueller reportedly reiterated that he would like a chance to ask Trump questions about steps he took during the transition and early months of his administration. Giuliani joined the Trump legal team last week, hoping to negotiate an end to the investigation within a couple of weeks. Earlier, discussions of a presidential sit-down with Mueller reportedly broke off after the raid of Michael Cohen's office, residence, and hotel room.
So we're going to get both David and Joyce in on this. Joyce, let me start with you. What is the significance of a meeting, a potential meeting between Bob Mueller and Donald Trump? Is it something at this point that Bob Mueller needs for his investigation?
He really doesn't need it, and it's rare, that prosecutors will talk to a target of an investigation before they indict, but we've heard, at least through sources that come from outside of the Mueller investigation, that Trump is not a target. He's been told he's only a suspect. And so at some point, Mueller's team will have to decide, is he a target or is he just a witness? If he's a witness, he can be easily subpoenaed to the grand jury like anybody else. But if he's not a target simply because they don't want to indict a sitting president, then we're in this really unusual wild card situation that we've not seen come up before. But you make a case for obstruction not based on your interview with the target. So really, at the end of the day, this is not a critical sort of a sit down.
Yeah, it's interesting too. There's talk, David Ignatius, about Rudy Giuliani using his past, a personal relationship with Bob Mueller, perhaps to massage Mueller, to get some information out of him, to maybe, I don't know, help Mueller go easier on the president if he possibly can. What do you think the role of Giuliani is here in the big picture?
Well, I think he's the big negotiator, the experienced guy, the personal relationship with Mueller, as you say. Giuliani said a fascinating thing last night to the Wall Street Journal. He said, does the special prosecutor, meaning Mueller, really have an open mind? We're going to assess that. Now, what does that mean? What is the proposal that Giuliani, as the president's lawyer, wants to make to the special prosecutor with an open mind? Is it to close the investigation? Is it to time limit it? Is it to restrict it to certain associates of Trump in the campaign? We have no idea. But it's obvious from that quote from Giuliani that he's seeking some sort of broad negotiation, to which Mueller might well respond, I'm a criminal prosecutor. It's not my job to have an open mind. It's to complete the case. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go where the evidence leads me.
All right. We're learning that Dr. Ronnie Jackson, President Trump's nominee for VA Secretary, is in talks to possibly withdraw from consideration as new allegations emerge against him. 2 sources with knowledge of the conversations tell NBC News that Dr. Jackson has grown frustrated with the process and is in active discussions with senior White House officials about withdrawing his name from consideration for the cabinet post. NBC News obtained a 2-page document compiled by the top Democrat on the Veterans Affairs Committee, Senator John Tester. According to the summary, the White House medical unit had questionable record-keeping for pharmaceuticals it was distributing under Dr. Jackson's leadership. The summary also notes, quote, multiple incidents of drunkenness on duty, adding that Jackson once got drunk at a Secret Service going-away party and wrecked a government vehicle. Now, in a brief interview with NBC News, Jackson denied that specific allegation, saying, quote, I never wrecked a car, and that it should be pretty easy to prove. Dr. Jackson said earlier this week that he looked forward to a confirmation hearing so he can answer lawmakers' questions. Despite the new allegations, the White House continues to stand by Dr. Jackson.
As a White House physician, In fact, because Dr. Jackson has worked within arm's reach of 3 presidents, he has received more vetting than most nominees. Dr. Jackson has had at least 4 independent background investigations conducted during his time at the White House, including an FBI investigation conducted as part of the standard nomination vetting process.
And Caddy, Republicans may be wavering now. 3 Republican senators said that they want the White House to withdraw the nomination. But Caddy, again, I'm having a little trouble understanding when we came out the day after and